Booster 13's aft section is getting scrapped at Massey's, Remedios Avenue is ready for Starship flight vehicles at Sanchez, a new 4-point ship lifter is spotted at the build site, and a path through the D0 gate has been cleared for Ship 37 to roll to the launch site. Hey everyone, and welcome to RGV Aerial Photography's Starbase Flyover update number 91. Once again, the weather this week was perfect for another fantastic flyover. The flight took place on July 25th at an altitude just above 6,000 feet and captured all the fast-moving action at the now officially named Starbase Texas. My name is Jeff A, and I'll be your guide today, so let's kick back and take in all the exciting sights. We'll start over at the Massey's test facility. Beginning at the methane farm area, form and rebar work for the commodities trench has begun, with some of the floor of the trench being poured, as well as rebar work to form the rest of the walls and floor for the trench. To the right, the large bunker has been poured, with rebar hoops protruding from the walls to tie into the roof. More concrete has been broken up and appears to be to continue the commodities trench past the old cryo culvert and around parallel to the new methane tank. At the new methane farm area, new skids are being constructed similar to the ones at the Pad 2 tank farm at the launch site. 2 additional pre-assembled modules are staged nearby. The stands for mounting the heat exchangers have also been installed. The work platform for the static fire stand has been moved to the side. Spare flame bucket curve pipe sections seen arriving through the week are nowhere to be seen and may have been lowered into the flame trench ahead of repairs down there. Moving to the new boosted cryo testing station QD frame, new high pressure lines have been installed going to the structure. Next to the liquid oxygen subcoolers, additional frames are being constructed for another 2 LOX subcoolers. Moving to the large concrete pads next to the liquid oxygen tanks, new skids are also being constructed to house the valves and LOX pumps on this side of the system. Finally, next to the LR11000, we can see Booster 13's aft section after it was recovered from the ocean and transported to the site. Well, that's enough for Massey's. Let's move to Sanchez. Before we get started, let's have a quick look over this week's map from Proky to get our bearings around this ever-changing work site. Starting to the side of Highway 4, you can see one of the generators for the gas power plant leaving Starbase. Another one is in the process of being loaded onto a truck near the plant. At the former launch mount construction area, a part of the exhaust system is also awaiting departure. Rolling to the stands construction area, the top ring structure for the new workstation for ships is almost ready to be moved to Megabase 2. It's still missing clamps, so we'll keep an eye out on that because it could tell us if the version 3 ships will have the interstage clamps or if they will be on the integrated hot staging ring. Taking a look at the mystery black and white platforms, the previously assembled floors have been further stacked. And as of writing, the first completed platform you can see here was delivered to the Star Factory on the 28th. This week we can see more of the cylindrical parts have arrived. Nearby, the second of 2 platforms has been delivered this week, with their purpose being currently unknown. At the ship quick disconnect arm area, not much progress is seen apart from the high pressure lines being installed and some valves awaiting installation. The LOX pump manifold from the launch site had been removed and now staged here. More on that later. Some more Gigabase column embeds were delivered this week, along with their rods, which are approximately 8 feet long. These are the first parts for this huge building. To the side of the rocket garden, formwork has been built for the concrete to complete the junction of the drains. A new curved extension to Remedios Avenue has been poured. This should connect it to St. Martin's Boulevard, finishing a complete loop around the build site for delivery trucks and staff. Finally, the ship cryo stand is being ready to be moved to Megabase 2 for Ship 38 to roll to Massey's. This rollout would be the first time that Remedios Avenue has been used for flight vehicles. Just before moving to the build site, we'd like to thank all of our YouTube and Patreon members. Remember, all of our patrons get to participate in our Discord show and tell sessions on the same day of each flight. Here you can join in the discussions and ask your own questions. YouTube members also get to watch and listen in with a live chat function. With the crew working in the new Gigabase site 24/7, this week we see them already digging down to expose the tops of the piles in this corner, in preparation for the concrete pile caps to be readied. In this image, the layout of piles indicates the final shape of the structure. The outer pairs of rows will bear the weight of the external walls. It's uncertain if the actual wall will line up with the centre of these pairs or to the outer edge of them. Further in, smaller perpendicular wall sections will divide the work bays and provide structural strength to the exterior walls. This will do away with any exterior bracing as seen around the smaller megabays. Between them, we can see the piles for the actual workstation structure. The ones for the corner workstations can also be seen. As mentioned in official paperwork, the 4 rows of workstations will have 6 in each. This will likely include vehicle construction turntables. Looking near the drilling rigs, more fresh piles can be seen. The scope of this process is shown by the number of concrete trucks that continuously deliver every day. Ship 38 seen here in the centre stand was loaded onto the puck shucker stand on the 27th of July and transported to Massey's. Possible ambient pressure testing was observed on the 28th. Ship 37 would begin preparations to leave the bay on the 27th of July, but then missed the initial transport window. It was finally placed on the transport stand early in the morning of the 28th. The road closure for 10 AM that morning would see the ship make its way to the launch site for its static fire campaign. Fresh concrete can be seen just inside the door of Mega Bay 2 as preparations for the new workstation continue. New shelf platforms are being installed on the turntable station with an extra one staged on the floor below. To the side of this bay, the new 4-point lifter designed especially for the version 3 ships has finally shown up. Cladding continues to be removed from the front of the factory once again. The multi-storey apartment block ramp has been prepped for concrete. It appears that this is only half of the vehicle ramp, with footings continuing in the same direction. With foundation work looking complete, crane parts started arriving later in the day ahead of wall construction in the coming weeks. Finally over to the village, the groundwork for the proposed rec centre area has begun. Now let's head over to the launch site. Here's a map to show where all the key systems and hardware are situated around the site. Beginning at Pad 2, utilities are being installed in the corner of the launch site. The drainage pipe seen within a slab 2 weeks ago now continues in a trench toward the corner. Taking a detour to the other end of this pipe, it continues toward the water farm. There is a second length under the new slab adjacent to the blast wall, with the pipe seen passing under the wall foundation. It's unclear if this is a drain to the retention pond or if they have plans to pump the water from the pond back toward the water farm. Electrical conduits are also encased in red dye concrete, turning above ground in the corner as well. This corner is expected to have a retention pond, so this work is likely to prepare for the pond to be built. Closer to the launch mount, another slab has been poured with another formed on the opposite side. The space between the flame trench and the commodity trench has also been filled prior to final concrete in this area. Hardware installed within the ground support equipment structure appears to be near completion. The second level of the wings now have the structural beams in preparation of cladding. If we jump behind the tank farm for a moment, 3 wedge-shaped and additional rectangular-shaped pieces of cladding panels can be seen. Looking at the booster quick disconnects mentioned last week, the hood can be seen on the methane side. The carriage for the lock side is now installed as well. Turning to the tower side of the mount, we mentioned that a pad was being prepared for vehicle transport stands to park for lifting onto the pad. This week, rebar and forms are being prepared. In the 4 corners, large embeds can be seen. It's speculated that these will allow for a ship to be transported to the mount on the static fire stand sometime in the future. Taking a straight down look at the pad, orange paint marks are seen indicating the location of 8 additional embeds for the legs of the booster transport stand to rest on. Looking to the D0 gate, utility work continues here as well. Several conduit runs have been installed. The propellant culvert toward the tower is rapidly being completed. The 3 pipes are now past the expansion loop with the covers installed ahead of Ship 37's arrival soon. More on that later. At the high pressure distribution area, 2 new valve sleds have arrived. Installation of Firex related systems has continued. The main supply pipe for the tanks is installed. A manifold is also staged for installation that will distribute water to 4 of the smaller water lines with redundant flow paths. Just above, a segment of blast wall is being skipped. This may be to allow SPMTs to transport the larger water tank onto its pedestals. The previously mentioned water pipes will need to be temporarily removed for this installation. Over at the D2 gate, the new pad was poured. We'll keep an eye out on this area as its purpose is still unknown. At the Pad 2 pump farm, the LOX outlet manifold for the booster was removed. Seen earlier at Sanchez, this 2-piece assembly was modified to be a single manifold. The methane side of the farm was being tested during the flyover. The 4 pumps for the booster loading system can be seen frosted, as well as the large subcooler and valve systems by the methane buffer tanks. Looking further along the tank farm, this testing included the supply and return pipe work to the new methane tanks. Work has resumed in recent weeks in front of the 5 smaller methane tanks. Overlooked, the area to the right of the previously installed vaporizers and fan bases, the bases seen in recent months are now on new foundations. On the left, the vertical tank foundation was poured months ago. The tank arrived by boat in the port of Brownsville on the 26th and was swiftly installed the following morning. At the cryo offload area, the concrete marked last week has been dug up for new electrical conduits, likely related to the methane tanks. Before we move to Pad 1, land clearing has begun to the north of the roundabout. This is the site where the new air separation unit will be constructed to supply LOX, liquid nitrogen, and other gases extracted from the air. Finally turning to Pad 1, the static fire adapter continues to be prepared for Ship 37. The mounts for the RVAC stiffeners have new hardware installed. Looking at the quick disconnect system, the pipework is looking much more complete. Flex hoses would be added on the 26th. It's unclear if the full QD plate will be used to connect to the ship or if single pipe fittings will be connected and bolted to the flex hoses. A transport delay was posted for the early hours of July 28th for Ship 37, and SpaceX posted these images of it making the journey to the launch site and then being lifted onto the Pad 1 OLM. Testing closures were also posted for the 30th and 31st. On Wednesday, July 30th, Lab Padre captured this video of a scrubbed static fire attempt. Well, that's it for episode 91 of Starbase Flyover Updates. Thanks for choosing to fly with RGV aerial photography, and we hope you all enjoyed the flight. If you liked what you saw today, please subscribe for more episodes and content so you don't miss out on the new videos each week. I'm Jeff A, and we hope to see you again from just over 6,000 feet.